I'm a sinner, left my lover crying on the dance floor. I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner.
Hi everybody! Apparently, Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaires got a sequel. Yay! This is not the full version. Okay, so it is really early. Okay. Please report any... Yeah, okay. So it's the same person. Okay. We need to know... we need to set some options. First, would you like to disable not safe for work content? Okay. Leave the not safe for work content on. Next, the default name for... nah, we're going with Anon. It's funnier that way. He's just Anon at this point. Protagonist in this story will be Anon. Finally, this game can read save files of the original game. If you have not run that game at least one... Okay. Looks like you haven't gotten the true ending of the original game yet, but that's okay. Yeah, you can go fuck yourself. I'm never doing that. I read the guide on that. That's bullshit. That said, your enjoyment will definitely be enhanced from no fuck you. Don't make it a bitch to get then. Fuck you. Frenni Fazclaires is a well-known nightclub for various reasons. Chief among them are the alluring animatronics that are capable of things human entertainers can only dream of. Please join my Patreon and subscribe star if I have to do this. They don't need to sleep, eat, or deal with any material needs other than needing to recharge every so often. They always give their best performances and can even be upgraded to enhance their ability even further. If it weren't for the massive power bill and proprietary methods used to craft each animatronic body, Fazclaires would be revolutionizing the entire adult industry. It is now in 2025 that Fazclaires has finally opened up a second location. My name is Anon, and I've been given the opportunity to become the chief engineer of this new club. I've arrived a month after the new club's opening due to some logistical snafus and training at the original club. Serafina, the new club manager, has been able to keep the 4 animatronics running in my absence. But I'm quite sure after a month, the girls are overdue for some tender love and care. It's a chilly morning in October when I report to Fazclaires. Okay, so this one we don't get to pick if we're male or female. Much like its predecessor, the club is off the main thoroughfare of the city. It's a few stories tall and tucked between 2 rolling hills that help prevent noise pollution from straying too far from the building. Of course, things are all quiet this morning as I head for the door, punched in my code, and stepped inside. Okay, what the fuck is that thing? Oh, wait. No. What is that thing? What is that? Is that... the fuck? Alright. Waiting in the reception area is none other than Serafina herself. I don't know all that much about her, only that she's the young sister of Lilith who manages the original club. The first words that come to mind when I look at Serafina is angelic. She's tall, slim, with flowing white hair, golden eyes, and a face that would put Aphrodite to shame. Her curves are enhanced by the flowing dress, and her head is accentuated by a fancy headpiece. When she speaks, her voice is pure and her smile capable of charming the pants off anyone with a sex drive. That might appear as a goddamn placeholder. By the way, I'm playing this live. If you'd like to see these type of games done live, please think of joining the Patreon or subscribe star. Good morning, Mr. Anon. It's a pleasure to finally meet you in person. Likewise, I've heard about you here and there from Miss Diablo. Oh, fuck off. What did you do, chat? There is no way that actually comes from something. You photoshopped that. All good things, I hope. More or less, she told me that I'd be in good hands working with you. Oh, it's from Gmod, okay. Well then, shall we get your onboarding out of the way? She pulls out a small card, clears her throat, and recites the company tagline. Welcome to Frenni Fazclaires, a magical place for adults, where fantasies and fun come to life. Making your dreams become real is our priority, though I'm sure you already know that given you're trained at the original club. So let's skip ahead a bit, shall we? She hands me the card. It has some weight to it, with the word staff written on the front in big gold letters. Below that label is a second one that reads Chief Engineer. The backside of the card has a map of the club, along with several phone numbers in the event of any emergency. Make sure you keep that card on your person at all times. Without it, the girls cannot verify your identity and grant you access to other prohibited areas. I slip the card into my badge holder that's attached to the lanyard with the circuit board pattern. I take it the same rules are in place as the original club, don't fuck the animatronics and all? To some degree, yes. Normal patrons and staff aren't permitted to fondle, grope, or otherwise make moves on the girls. However, you are chief engineer. You need to be able to completely assess the girls' capabilities and performances for any required maintenance. Given your training, I don't think we'll have any issues, but I should still say this much. Please at least run any sensual matters regarding the girls by me before you tackle them yourself. So basically, exercise my best judgment and run any involved examinations by you first. Easy enough. How are the girls faring anyways? Seraphina's smile falls just a bit as she answers. To be honest, it's a good thing you came when you did. Roxy has been pouring her soul into every musical performance to the point she's had several instances of power loss towards the end of the evenings. She keeps mentioning auditory and visual issues, while Aurora's in this game, electromagnetic capabilities have been on the fritz since 2 weeks after opening. As for Mia, she's been falling apart since she got here, and I don't mean in the sense she's literally designed to detach her parts at will. From the sounds of it, Mia is the most pressing concern, followed by Aurora, Chi, and then Roxy. Ideally, I'll be able to give all the girls a once-over prior to the club's opening tonight, but it depends on what I find in my examinations. Seraphina nods and motions to the left passage leading off from the entrance. In that case, allow me to take you through the barricade to access the lower levels. It'll be faster than taking the main lift down from the backstage. I follow Seraphina's wake as she leads me through the space designed and furnished like a retro arcade. There are all manner of game cabinets and neon lights spread throughout, with a large bar stocked with an impressive variety of liquor towards the back wall. This is Chi's domain. She's just as capable of mixing drinks as she is to kick your ass in any fighting game on the floor. All the cabinets here run on a card system. Patrons can top up the funds on their cards at those machines next to the ATM. As staff, you get to play for free as long as your other duties are taken care of first. We keep moving, taking the door next to the bar into the kitchen for a brief moment. I'm no expert in culinary delights, but the kitchen seems rather expensive and well-stocked to my untrained eye. Similarly, we step into the main storage room for only a moment before Seraphina leads me to a door with a badge reader attached. She produces her own security card She produces her own security card. The lock chimes and the door swings open to reveal a staircase heading down. All access to the lower levels is gated behind similar locks, so make sure you have your card on you at all times. The idea is that the staff can quickly get to the other areas of the club without needing to wade through the crowds on the main floor. On the way to the lounge and parts and services, we'll pass the server, electrical, and medical rooms. It's weird that it's starting with like a not, like, I don't think that's part of this series. Like, I don't know much about FNAF. Maybe? I don't know. The staircase opens to a moderately, I like the art of her, lit tunnel just toward the end of the three people standing shoulder to shoulder. We hang an immediate left followed by a right before emerging into an animatronic lounge. A variety of comfy chairs and couches litter the space along the tables of both the utilitarian and entertainment variety. There are 11 doors leading from that space. 4 are meant for the animatronics, 4 that are storage rooms, 2 lead to further tunnels, and the remaining leads to parts and services. Serafina motions at the far door on the right next to the entrance to parts and services. Mia's room is that one there. Next to hers is Aurora's, while Roxy and Cheese are over to this side. They should all be recharging at the moment, though knowing Roxy, she's staying up working despite her battery limited charge. She motions to Mia's room. Shall we? Another badge reader gains us entrance to Mia's room. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but it definitely was an aggressively pastel goth bedroom. There's an equally mix of grunge and pastel elements in both furniture and decorations. Plenty of pinks, purples, and blacks. I like that one already. Cute mascot posters share the same wall as horror movie posters. I feel attacked. A queen-size bed with an excessive amount of pillows and plushies sit next to a recharge pod where Mia is currently charging. Oh, she's actually kind of cute. I like her design. It's actually kind of cute. At a glance, I can confirm that Mia is a variant of Fazclaires' animatronic Foxy model. Her white carapace is marked with pink and black accents, as well as a bunny girl getup. Mia's eyes open when Serafina and I step closer to the recharge pod. She smiles and speaks in an upbeat and pleasant manner. Good morning. Her eyes wander to my lanyard and the card attached to it. They flash gold and she continues. Ah, you must be Anon, our new engineer. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let me just step out of my pod here. The pod door swings open and Mia steps out. Or, well, she tries to. She makes it 2 steps before her knees buckle and she falls to pieces. Though she doesn't seem too concerned as her head rolls next to her feet. Well, guess I'm getting ahead of myself. It's been harder and harder to keep myself together. Boss lady, mind giving me a hand getting Mia here to parts and services? Certainly. Come on, Mia. Up you go. It takes several trips to get all of Mia's parts next to the room, into the next room over. A large lift is in the center of the parts and services, next to which are 3 cradles, each meant to hold an animatronic. Beyond that are private lifts that lead to the girls' red rooms, or so Serafina says. A room containing spare parts lies to the left of the main lift, and the actual workshop is to the right. For now, Serafina and I cobble together Mia in one of the cradles. I then pop into the workshop and grab some tools to start diagnosing what's wrong with Mia. I start plugging a Fazclaire tablet into the port in her neck piece and run a simple checkup program. Most of your magnetic couplers have been degeised. No wonder you've been having issues keeping together. Luckily, it's a simple fix. I just have to replace a bad couple with fresh ones and you'll be good to go. Though I am curious what could have demagnetized neodymium like that. Serafina looks over my shoulder at the screen. Unfortunately, I'm of little help here. There's been so much involved with the club's opening that I haven't a clue what could have affected Mia like this. Speaking of which, do you know what voice would be better for her? Speaking of which, do you think you can take things from here, Mr. Anon? I have some other matters to attend to during the day shift. Yeah, I should be fine. Thanks for the onboarding and helping so far. She smiles, then departs. Once I grab the necessary replacement parts for Mia, I set to work fixing her joints. Yeah, no, this isn't so bad so far. I liked the first one. It was just I couldn't get that true ending because like the guide I saw was such a nightmare to try to purse through and stuff. I wasn't going to do it. She strikes up a conversation as I make progress. So Anon, are you always this handy with girls you've just met, or am I a special case? I like to know everything there is to know about the animatronics I'm servicing. Just let me know if you get uncomfortable. Of course. You know service is basically what I do here at the club. Not in that way, before you ask. I oversee the VIP areas and the booths, as well as meeting patron needs. If you ever need something, just come to my concierge area and I'll do my best to get it for you. Noted, though I imagine you're not always in a bunny suit. It's about all I can wear, while still maintaining the ability to detach my parts. Do you do that often? Take yourself apart? Depends on the night, really. Sometimes it's easier to handle guests' needs when my body can operate separate from my head. Though it can be a real pain in the neck. I can't help but chuckle at her pun as I click new magnets into her frame. From the sound of it, you don't suffer as much wear and tear as the other girls. How long have you been having these problems? Serafina mentioned this has been going on for some time. Pretty much ever since I got here. It's been getting worse and worse. Do your parts often suffer heavy impacts that can sometimes demagnetize them? Can't say that they do, but I'll keep that in mind. You know, if Aurora's electromagnetism has been on the fritz, and you've been hanging around her, that could have been our smoking gun, so to speak. Oh, I do hang out with Aurora a bunch. As the club's lead dancer, she's often requested for private shows. I will say I love this artist art. Like, this is actually really nice. They would draw Suka really well, that stupid Eldritch Abomination. Are you saying I should refrain from interacting with her? Nah, nothing so drastic. At least once I get her fixed anyway. Sorry, wrong voice. Hopefully I can do that during the day shift and you can hang out with her like usual. Do you help any other girls with their areas? Sorta. Chia is I keep wanting to say Chica because of the first game. I wonder if this is the dev that's doing that other game too, that SCP one. I want more of that one. That one was fun. Sorta. She is a blast to be around, but Roxy is very particular who can touch her equipment. Whenever I'm not playing concierge, I'm usually helping Serafina with odds and ends around the club. Speaking of Serafina, what do you think of her so far? She seems like a nice boss so far. Mia brightens up even further, which is saying something given how chipper she's been so far. Oh, she's wonderful, very relaxed yet knows her stuff and how to properly manage people. Whenever I do that voice, for some reason, I end up doing like stuttering. Because I'm doing like that innocent voice. It's really weird how that always happens. Every time she gets involved with a patron, that patron is always left with a smile, even the regularly grumpy ones. Don't forget to become a patron of my Patreon. She's also keeps us girls running until you got here, which hasn't been easy. So she's not overworking you? I was wondering if you weren't getting enough downtime. Nah, nothing of the sort. I mean, Roxy pushes herself really hard, but Serafina doesn't make us work at 100% for hours on end. If anything, Serafina might give us too much break time. So, Roxy's a workaholic. What can you tell me about Chi and Aurora? Well, Chi is even higher energy than I am. If you can believe it, she flirts shamelessly with everyone, including the boss. Her barricade is always one big party, and one of the main draws for folks that aren't into raves or strip shows. Speaking of, Aurora is an expert on the pole thanks to her training with Bonfi in the original club. Aurora doesn't just strip, though. She also does a variety of dances and martial arts displays, depending on the crowd for any given night. Though, since her electromagnetism hasn't been working right, she hasn't been able to do her signature chakram performance. As I finish up the last few magnets, I switch the conversation tracks. I'm curious about what the whole pastel goth thing you had going on in your room. Have you always been a fan of such aesthetics? Yes, by the way, that is a thing. We're not always into just black. Pretty much. Whomever programmed me must have had an interesting taste. It also fits my brand in a way, a perfect mix of cute, sexy, and unnerving. The last magnet clicks in place and I take a step back from the cradle. I do like, by the way, that these guys aren't just like horny at you like in the last game. Like, it feels a little better balanced so far. Where in the last game, it was just horny, 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 horny. I did like the story, but the problem was I couldn't get to the true ending, and that was annoying because I actually did want to see the true ending to that. Pastel goth's a thing. That's what I am. If you've no, you guys have seen parts of my room. I'm a pastel goth. I'm a fucking unicorn. Yes. I mostly wear black, but I have like pink shoes. And I sometimes wear pink in my hair, and my hair is colored with green. Like, my hair has green stripes in it. But, yeah, no, I've got pastel around my room, too. I thought this was known. You guys have seen my room. My room's just a hodgepodge of things, too. Try moving around and let me know how it feels. I'm a fucking pink unicorn. The fuck do you mean you didn't realize I was pastel? Goth. Did you see me in the Eldritch Abomination? That should have been a thing. Mia takes an attentive step and then another. She does a full circuit of parts and services before returning to my side, beaming. Everything checks out. Thanks, Anon. I wish I could stay and chat longer, but my batteries are running fairly low. If you need me tonight, you know where to find me. She gives me a quick hug before skipping off back to her room. I check my watch to see that I've just enough time to handle fixing 2 more girls before the club has time to open. Assuming, of course, one of them doesn't have any major issues that require an involved repair. So, we're going to pick the next one next time, guys. So if you like this one, let me know in the comments section, and I will continue. Don't forget to check out my Patreon subscribe star and my new channel, Cenobite Unicorn, for my long plays. Thank you guys very much. Have a fantastic day. Welcome back to a Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaires 2. I'm going to admit, not a huge fan of FNAF, but I am liking this series mostly because of the artwork and the writing isn't terrible. Would have liked to get that true ending with the first game. Fuck you. Still mad. Aurora is the next highest repair priority. If I'm not able to fix her electromagnetic abilities, then Mia's likely to wind up right back here on my table. Using my tablet, I send off a request for Aurora to join me in parts and services. She arrives 5 minutes later, yawning and stretching like a cat. She's the first tiger animatronic that Fazclaires produced, meaning she's a prototype and therefore prone to unforeseen problems. Okay. Look at that art. Just going furry. Good morning. Her eyes flash gold as she looks at my lanyard. Ah, so you're the new guy. Nice to meet you. You here to fix my EM coils? I motioned at the cradle for her to relax on. Along with other issues you might be having. Nice to meet you as well. Aurora moves to the rest of the cradle, offering her neck for me to plug into the tablet. Sure enough, Aurora's EM coils, which regulate her electromagnetic powers, are drawing way too much power. Honestly, I'm surprised she hasn't been having battery issues because of it. I'll have to remove the coils, replace some wires, and update their firmware. But there's something odd as well. Aurora's memory banks are strangely empty compared to what I saw earlier in Mia's. Aurora's personality subroutines are fine, and she has some memory of working in the club so far. Beyond that, though, she's a blank slate. There's some other minor problems highlighted by the diagnostics, but I'm pretty sure they'll be fixed by repairing those EM coils. The good news is that solving your main problem will handle everything else. And the bad news? Not really any bad news. Your main coils are in your chest and hands. The latter I can easily enough. The latter I can get to easily enough, but the former will require you to open up for me. Aurora grins, reaching up to the collar of her dress. You want me to take things off nice and slow, or to get right down to it? Whichever you prefer, though there's only so much time left in the day. Aurora opts to expose herself with a little ceremony. Once her chest is bare, I tap a sequence of hidden buttons and latches. This in turn causes her chest plate to split down the middle and swing open. The EM coils take up most of her boobs, though they're surrounded by non-conducting polymer that gives her some bounce and squeeze. I'll have to remove the outer casing before I can start working on the coils themselves. Aside from the coils acting up, have you been experiencing any memory loss? Your banks are far less full than Mia's. She shrugs best she can without disrupting my work. Mia has to keep tabs on a bunch of VIPs and other details. My job's pretty simple by comparison. I dance, show some skin, and generally put on a show. I did hear that you learned your skills from the master herself. What was working with Bonfi like? Let's just say that Bonfi is a strict instructor. She had me doing things with the pole that I scarcely thought possible. And that was only on the first day. I kept asking if she could just let me copy her subroutines, but all she would say was, you have to learn this yourself if you're going to put on a show. Granted, I realize now that she was right, but in the moment it was rough going. Rough going sounds exactly like Bonfi, all right. I got used to her antics while I was training at the original club. I hope it won't take me long to adjust to things here. We're definitely more laid back than the first location. That said, watch out for Chi. Unlike the original Chiku, our Chiku is like Fexa and Bonfi combined in terms of skill and energy. Oh god. So super fast and always handing out sexy flirts? Makes her a great bartender, at least in terms of how often and how much she gets tipped. Is it just you that does dances, or do the other girls help out if they're free? Depends on the night, really. She is the most available of the other three, while Mia's only open when there's not a bunch of VIPs to hand over. Roxy is, well, I'd say high-strung. She gets way too deep into her work, and at times, to the point that we have to drag her away from the DJ booth every morning. So you perform every night. I wonder if that might be why your coils are out of sync. I'll have to monitor them moving forward. Speaking of, I've heard good things about your chakram routine. Once I'm done here, you'll be able to resume them. That's good. They're kind of my main draw after the whole stripping thing. Though slinging around the chakrams really drains my batteries. As does alleviating myself around the pole. I'll have to get used to longer and/or more frequent recharges again. I do wonder why your model was made with these electromagnetic capabilities in the first place. Seems like an odd thing to put an animatronic in this line of work. Then again, I suppose Mr. Black has always had strange ideas since he became the owner of the first club. I think I'm about done here, so 2 more softballs before I close you back up. Can I pet you and do you purr? Aurora's ears flick and so does her tail. I chuff, not purr. As for petting me, maybe once I get to know you better. No offense, of course. None taken. Let me close you back up and you can get dressed again. You should be right as rain for later tonight. She flashes a wide grin and offers me a fist bump after she's modest. Cheers, Anon. I'm off to squeeze in some extra recharge then. Naturally, I return the fist bump with gusto. See ya. See ya. There's just enough time for another repair job before the club opens and the girls will be needed. Who should I fix? Oh, I'm gonna be a terrible person. I will see you guys next time. Yeah, I'm doing that type of thing. Don't forget to check out my Patreon and Subscribe Star, because as of recording this, I am demonetized. So if you want to help out, and you do want to become a YouTube member, Sinfully Pure is monetized currently, and I do have a new channel called Cenobite Unicorn, where I'm putting up long plays. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody. Welcome back to a Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaires 2. We're going to look at Chi. Using my tablet, I send off a request for Chi to join me in parts and services. Not 30 seconds later, a new animatronic comes bounding into the room. Her movements are especially animated, like someone at Pixar turned their character emotions to 11 and gave them way too many energy drinks. Her voice is luscious and tickles my ears in the right ways. Hey, hun. Like, hey, hun, so you're the new guy, huh? I've been aching to meet you since the boss said you were coming. It's been so long since I had a man who knew how to touch me in all the right places. Hi to you two. Seraphina told me that you've been experiencing some kind of audio-visual bugs. She nods and points to the side of her head. It's like I'm seeing double at times on top of hearing a slight echo. And let me tell you, that does not make for a good bartending in the middle of an arcade with Roxy's music pounding down the hall. Though I at least can see two of the nice, tall drinks of water in front of me now. Look at that beautiful art. I do really like the artwork. I offer the end of my tablet cable towards her. Well, let's get you plugged in and we'll see what's amiss. I'm able to root out the issue almost instantly. Chi's binaural and visual modules are slightly out of sync. The fixes are as simple as synchronizing a watch. All I have to do is tell her modules to pull the latest time data from the club servers. Though they should have been doing that automatically at regular intervals to begin with. Weird. Let me just push this command here and you're done. How do you feel? She holds out a hand, inspects it, then reaches out and ruffles my hair before I can react. Right as rain, and now we have 10 minutes before I'm needed upstairs. Damn. Which is 9 minutes and 50 seconds more than I'll need to give you a proper reward for fixing me. So what do you want to do, hun? I mean, I may be chief engineer, but there's still rules against fucking without running it by Seraphina first. To my surprise, she laughs like I've told her the best joke she's heard in years. I was just going to give you a quick peck and maybe a nice butt squeeze. To think your mind is already going towards sex, you must really, really like me, huh? That's not... She gives me the quick peck on the cheek and another head pat. It's okay. It's only natural you experience love for the first time. It happens all the time at the bar. Though I suppose that happens to bartenders all the time. We're supposed to be extra friendly and way too many people read too far into it. Oh well, perils of the job, I suppose. Anything you want to know before I go set up for the evening? What is wrong with you? I point to her neck and motion for her to unplug. Let's make sure I have the baseline while you're here. Have you been experiencing blackouts or even losing track of time? I'm trying to establish if this is an instance of a simple broken update or something more sinister. I mean, sometimes when I've been recharging, but I thought that was normal. Could be. You're supposed to be syncing with the servers on a regular basis. Perhaps something went amiss and you were inadvertently disabling your systems whenever such a sync tried to happen. Could you try syncing while I'm here? Her eyes flash gold. Still good here, hon. Must have been a bug in the system that you thankfully squashed. Good. I'm still going to keep an eye on you moving forward. Just make sure you're watching all my good parts. Speaking of repairs, have you been near Aurora recently, or has the bass from You know what? I think I know what voice she's gonna get. Or the bass from Shut up. From Roxy's raves been loud enough to shake things loose? Nah, Aurora mostly hangs out with Mia. She sometimes comes to fetch a drink on behalf of the VIP, but the most part Aurora stays on her side of the club. Not bad blood between us, no bad blood between us, thus, we just don't interact much. As for Roxy's music, my binaural suit is the second most sensitive one after Roxy's. I can hear her bass line 3 blocks down from the club. Oh, I see. Should I turn down the sensitivity, perhaps? Nah, I needed to properly hear everything that happens in the barcade while simultaneously handing customers orders, but it's sweet of you to ask, hon. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll give her a Southern. Then let's switch tracks. Any good stories about guests so far? What drinks should I order and which arcade cabinet should I play? G's already bright expression glows in excitement. Well, there's Mr. Turner that comes in every Thursday since the club opened for real. He's always orders the same weird drinks. Grand Mariner mixed with Kahlua. Neat, doesn't talk much. Tips $2 bills. As for my drink specialties, I learned the best budget white Russian from Mary back at the original club. I can also make the mean royal flush. As for the arcade, there's always a Fazclaires pinball machine. $2 bills, royal flush, and pinball. Quite an interesting spread. Do you have any insight on Serafina or Roxy you can share? You've touched on others so far. Roxy may seem gruff and uptight, but she's a total sweetheart. Get her talking about music theory and how to make proper chocolate chip cookies, and she'll go for hours with her tail wagging the entire time. As for Serafina, well, she leans in and whispers, "You didn't hear this from me, but she seems really lonely. She keeps to herself despite wandering about the club doing business hours whenever she's not needed. More than once I've seen her looking down at the dance floor from the upstairs balcony with a longing expression." Cool. One last curveball before I'm convinced you're fixed and good for tonight's shift. Do you ever think that we're just dust? That we're all just floating out here, flying through space without knowing where we were until we collided with someone? And just for a moment, that collision makes us become real? G's eyes flash gold, as expected from your use of philosophy. I didn't expect you to be a nihilist, Anon, but to answer your question, I think collisions are something to be celebrated, but not actively sought out. Too many collisions and you lose yourself, but not having any means, you never get to truly experience the world. The trick is setting yourself up for success by breaking out of your comfort zone now and again. Fair point. Everything looks and sounds great. You get a clean bill of health, Chi. Cheers. I'll be at the bar if you need me. Now that the club is coming to life above me, I look over my domain. Parts and services could do with a makeover, as could the workshop. I want to be prepared in the event of any emergency, and I also want to be able to recycle and rebuild parts as needed. The former can be accomplished by setting up monitoring equipment hooked up to the security cameras and servers to get a real-time feed of the animatronic status. The latter is a matter of properly cataloging, labeling, and arranging all the parts in storage. I grab some spare equipment from storage before poking my head into the security room via my all-access badge. There is no one currently on duty, but I imagine they've simply stepped out. That or they're 4 very capable animatronics that can handle any issue that arise. The original club was kind of lax on security, as well when I was training there. For the most part, patrons seem to behave when there's 1,000 pounds of metal that can break an arm as easily as twist it off. I grab what I need and return to my area of the club. There's a bit of fuzz now and again when I enable the camera feeds, but otherwise they work just fine. I'm getting up-to-date info about the girls at a glance. For example, I can see that Roxy is already down to 63% charge, despite only 2 hours of time passing since opening. That's indicative of either something wrong with her batteries or that Roxy skimped out on recharging properly. I figure I might as well check out Roxy while she works. She's currently in the DJ booth of her rave pit, currently jamming out to some solid trance. The music is pumping, the body's moving, the lights flashing frantically in tune with the beat. There's even go-go dancers providing extra eye candy to go along with the misty visual effects. But at the forefront is Roxy herself. From what I can remember from her dossier, she mixes all her tracks herself. Watch me get nailed for this music. She curates a handcrafted experience each night so that every performance is fresh, even if it cycles through the same library of tracks. Roxy's pretty hot too, so that's probably keeps the crowd motivated as well. I can only get so close without becoming lost in the mass of dancers. Even on the edge of the scene, my foot is tapping and I'm subconsciously swinging to the beat. All this energy might explain why Roxy's burning through her battery so quickly. If she always goes this hard, no wonder she's having recharging issues. I tear myself away from watching Roxy's performance for the time being. I catch up with her after the club closed. For now, I want to try and see if what she said about Serafina is true. I start looking around the periphery of the main dance floor, no dice. I look up to scan the balcony and still nothing. Or wait, could that be Serafina there in the far corner? Yep, that's either Serafina or someone stolen her headdress. Just like she said, Serafina is leaning against the railing while watching the crowd below. I can't quite make out her expression in the light. I would go up and say hello, but the timing just doesn't seem right. I've only just gotten here, and cozying up to the boss lady might not be taken all too well. That means it's time to return to parts and services to tinker. I also send a request for Roxy to join me after her set is finished for the evening. I expect Roxy to show up at any moment, so I wait and wait. An hour and a half pass and the club's closing goes by before Roxy shows up in parts and services. She looks haggard compared to how she looked earlier in the night. Her hair's lost its poof, her red coat is drooping off of her, and her eyes are half-lidded. You wanted to see me, new guy? Something wrong? I'm doing systems checks on all the animatronics to establish a baseline of handle the existing issues. Go ahead and hop on the cradle. I've heard you've been experiencing some issues keeping your batteries charged. Roxy sighs, rolls her eyes, and reluctantly hops onto the cradle. It's nothing serious. I just use a lot of energy in my sets compared to the other girls. I've never actually collapsed or zonked out from not having enough juice left. I hold up the end of the cable and hook up my tablet. Better to be sure there's nothing underlining all the same. I'll be quick so you can get to the recharge ASAP. Roxy takes the cable and hooks it into the slot right below her canine ear. Do whatever. I'm ahead of my composing, so I have a little time to spare. After starting a diagnostic, I try striking up a conversation while the program scans for any issues. How much time do you actually spend recharging? From the sound of it, you stay up nearly 24/7. That's just the way it is when you're a rock star. Where I'm not an animatronic, I'd be pounding energy drinks to stay at high energy all the time. Speaking of, maybe you could take a look at my recharge pod while you're at it. Upgrade it so I can recharge me faster. First, I have to make sure your batteries aren't damaged and could even take an added strain. You're a Mark II animatronic, meaning you share the same battery design as Frenni and Mary at the original club. I had an extensive training working on those two before coming here. What made you get into repairing machines like us in the first place? You must have odd taste in women. I wouldn't go that far, but you're also not wrong. I just like the certainty of steel and how simple maintenance can keep you all running nearly indefinitely. What do you do when you're not on stage? Composing music or recharging? That's a rare thing for me. I live, eat, breathe, and shit music. Metaphorically, of course. If I'm not playing a set, then I'm working on a new one. And if I'm not doing that, I'm recharging or interfacing with guests that have paid for the extra experience. What's that like? I've heard much about that sort of thing. It's nothing terrible. Most of the time it's downright awkward. The majority of patrons act like a dog that's caught a car but has no idea what to do next. We talk with them, snap a few pictures, then send them on their way. Only an extremely rare guest actually has the confidence to treat us like normal people and hang out for their allotted time. I remember one guy in particular that came by for a while, Percy. He got along well with everyone, but we all knew he only had eyes for me. I treated him well and didn't lead him on, which was all he really wanted. One night he showed up and said he was having to move because of work. Gave me a Ushanka, commenting that he'd overheard me mentioning it in passing one night and that it was my favorite kind of hat. I still have it in my room. I hope he's doing well. No idea what gifts he got for everyone else, but each of us girls got a little something from Percy. Sounds like you're already making good memories, even though the club's only been open for a short time. What are your thoughts on the other girls and Boss Lady? I don't really have time to hang out with them outside of work, if you get my meaning. She's tried a few times, but I had to keep turning her down in order to catch up on my composing. As for Miss Seraphina, I suppose she got that whole stoic, lonely leader vibe going for her. My tablet beeps to signal the diagnostic is complete, and I scan the screen and then nod. Well, the good news is that your batteries aren't malfunctioning or otherwise showing signs of decay. Your audio suit is also damn impressive. That much high-quality gear must have cost Mr. Black a fortune to install in you. Best that you try and get more regular recharging in so that you don't literally burn out on stage one night. Roxy doesn't wait for me to tell her to disconnect the cable before popping it free and hopping out of the cradle. See? Told ya. Was there anything else you needed? You're free to go. I'll keep an ear out for any battery upgrades for your chassis or your charging pod. I'll also see if I can source some parallel processing chips so you can process and compose while hanging out with folks more easily. You do that. Thanks for the clean bill of health, Anon. Have a good one. With that, I've completed my first full shift of the new club. So that's it. So next time, we will see more. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you all next time. Don't forget, check out my Patreon subscribe store and my other channels, Sinfully Pure and Cenobite Unicorn. Bye, guys. Good morning, and welcome to a Fortnight of Frenni Fazclaires 2. I am never getting used to saying this series name. Since I live right down the block from the club, my journey home only takes a few minutes of walking. My apartment is modest, or well, as modest as it can be between all the Lego buildings, gunpla, and various sci-fi posters lining the wall. It was a pain moving everything across the country, but everything is finally where I'd like it to be, until I decide I need to redesign. However, rather than nerd out over my hobbies, I decide to consult the internet in order to see if there's anything I can order to help the girls at the club. Several items in particular jump out at me. First, there's a high-capacity battery. They're super pricey, but would essentially supercharge Roxy's battery life. They take nearly a whole night to install and are an expense I'd want to use the company card for, not my own. Well, obviously. Second, there's a nice bottle of scotch. She probably already has great whiskey at the bar, but this might be a nice personal touch. This I could cover with my own funds without breaking the bank. Third, there's a luxury flower pin. Its handcrafted metal pin would either suit Aurora or Seraphina. I can only order one at a time as the creator is limited stock and the purchase rules meant to ensure that scalpers can't hoard them. The good news is that the creator is local, so I could pick it up prior to work instead of waiting for it to go through the mail. What should I get? Go for Seraphina. One hairpin in particular catches my eye that would be perfect for Seraphina. It's of a silver dragon that should fit well with the headdress she wears. I click through and set up both the purchase and a good pickup time. With that taken care of, I yawn, stretch, and fall into bed for some blissful Z's. I have to wake up a little early to shower and pick up my purchase, but I'm hoping the smiles it'll bring will make the lost sleep worth it. I arrived 10 minutes early to my shift. Seraphina is there waiting once more, though she seems far more relaxed than yesterday. Good afternoon, Mr. Anon. I've heard nothing but good things from the girls so far about your first night's performance. Well, hold on, because there's one girl I haven't made smile yet. As she raises an eyebrow, I produce a dragon pin and hand it over to her. She takes it, turning it over in her hand as if I've handed her a baby or another precious item. It's lovely, but what made you pick the dragon motif? Well, your sister, Miss Lilith, had a brooch shaped like a dragon, and I know how much you look up to her. I hope I didn't miss the mark. Seraphina grips the stem of the pin and closes her eyes and replies, Not at all, Mr. Anon. It's just so sudden. I haven't received a gift of any kind in quite a long time. Wait, Not even for Christmas or your birthday? No, I don't really celebrate those, nor does Lilith or the rest of our family. I start to sweat slightly as I realize the implications of giving her such a gift. I'm not in trouble, am I? Seraphina shakes her head before reaching up and sliding the pin into her carefully contained hair. Not unless you want to be. Does this mean I shouldn't get you any more gifts? That depends on your intention, Mr. Anon. For now, let's say your punishment can be sharing a drink with me before the club opens. Come, I know where Chi keeps the bottle of the good stuff. As I take a seat at the bar, Seraphina ducks behind the counter and comes up with an unlabeled bottle of something very green. She pours 2 fingers worth of liquor into the 2 glasses with ice rocks in them. Then Seraphina picks up the glass and raises it to me. To new beginnings. To new beginnings! I clink the glass together before taking a sip. It is by far the most flavorful yet paint-removing liquor I've ever had. Even with the scant amount in my glass, I know it could floor me if I'm not careful with how much I drink. It's so strong, in fact, that I cough and sputter despite trying to resist the compulsion. Seraphina, on the other hand, downs her glass like it's nothing. She doesn't pour herself more, rather she looks at me as if anticipating my next move. So, your family must be quite unique between your name, style of business, and lack of holiday celebration. You also have the same kind of ethereal feeling that Miss Lilith did back in the original club. Let's just say that my sister and I have a vested interest in seeing our 2 nightclubs succeed. While you and every other staff member have your own duties, my purpose here is quite literally something no one else can do, or could do. As for the whole family situation, and my ethereal nature, I suppose I do give off that kind of air of being both unapproachable and above most people, even if that's not my intention. Surely a woman like you must have a lot of admirers despite, or even because of that. Or there have been a few over many years, but none truly captured my attention. I'm much like my dear sister in that it takes someone very particular to gain my interest in a meaningful way. Mr. Black and Miss Lilith certainly are an interesting power couple. I've always wondered how they ended up together. I never got around to asking either of them between my training working on animatronics. Smirking, Seraphina pours herself another small splash of liquor and takes a sip before replying. Believe it or not, Ms. Black won her over with a simple pizza. The rest was natural chemistry and luck on his part. Are you saying the key to your heart is through your stomach? More that despite offers of fancy jewelry, money, power, and everything else, material under the sun, my sister and I prefer something heartfelt and personal. Now do you understand why your gift caught me off guard? I think I'm beginning to, but something you said just now caught my ear. You said what you do here is something no one else can. Is it truly something that I or anyone else couldn't help with? Maybe down the line I can let you in on that little secret. We've only just met after all. It wouldn't do if I gave away all the mysteries up front, would it? Nah, it wouldn't. In that case, 2 business matters. You run things quite differently than the original club, where things were more intimate in some regards. You mean the fact that the girls here are talent first rather than hostesses seeking marks? It's true that Lilith runs her club in her own way, just as I do mine, but even then, there are similarities. Part of the draw here is the interactive staff. Without the girls, we'd just be another nightclub without anything to make us unique. I see. I do like the different vibe of this club compared to the original. We're more relaxed here, even if Roxy tries to bring down the house each night. Speaking of, I caught a listing for some high-capacity batteries that might help Roxy avoid the power issues she's been experiencing. All that high-fidelity sound equipment in her takes a ton of juice to run. Even if she gets more recharge time, it won't solve the underlying issue. Get me a solid price point, and I'll see if we can spare the funds for it. Anything else come to mind while we're here? Unless you know why Aurora's memories are blank or why Chi's clock stopped updating, I think that's it. Seraphina takes a now empty glass and slips them away behind the bar for cleaning later. I'm afraid that's out of my depth. I know enough about the animatronics to keep them running at a base level, but you're the chief engineer for a reason. I'm sure you'll figure out those mysteries in your own way. I take the hint that things have come to a close and that asking about her interest isn't in the cards right now. Thanks, ma'am. I'll see what I can dig up. See that you do, Mr. Anon. I return to my domain in parts and services. The club opens soon and there's no service request waiting for me to fix. That means I have time to tinker, build, or even relax. With nothing else on my plate, I decide to try and track down and understand how and when Chi's desync issue occurred. In the process, I discover that Chi's desync occurred 3 days after the club opened for the first time. Her internal clock hiccuped in a manner similar to a missed heartbeat. That, in turn, disabled the watchdog demon that handles time sync with the club servers. That gives me a thread to follow. I can tell that there's a large amount of data transferred to/from Chi during the night 3 days after opening. Perhaps she was simply overloaded? Even the best machine and server have limits of how much information they can handle at any given time. Before I can look into matters further, though, I get a ping from my tablet with a work request. Seems Mia's head has gotten stuck in the metal pole in one of the VIP booths. I best grab my toolkit and come to her rescue. When I arrive at the VIP area, I see that Mia's headless animatronic body is still monitoring and standing at the Concrete podium. It motions to booth 3, where the small crowd is hanging outside, and it's no wonder why. Mia's head is magnetized to the pole that runs down the middle of the booth. One of the VIPs is trying his best to pull it free, but she's stuck fast. When Mia spots me, she announces. I forgot what voice she gets. Alright, folks. The man of the hour. Alright, folks. The man of the hour. You know what? Alright, folks. The man of the hour's here. Let's allow Mr. Anon through so he can sort this situation out. You all will receive a free drink voucher for this inconvenience, so please relax and enjoy your time here. I forgot what voice she had originally. The crowd disperses along with the VIPs that were in the booth with Mia. I set down my toolkit and cock my head to the side. So, how did this happen exactly? If I could shrug, I would. I was walking by this booth when all of a sudden my head flew off and magnetized to this pole. I'm just thankful I didn't brain any of the VIPs. That would have been a nightmare. Magnetized, huh? I could simply switch you off to power down the current running through your superconductor in your neck. Only problem is that it would shut down the rest of your body. Something to avoid, perhaps? Not if there's a chance I could be offline for a long period of time. Another option is giving the same superconductor a jolt to momentarily disrupt it. Problem there is it could damage the magnet in the process. We'll put that as option B then. Any other ideas? I could degauss the metal pole itself. That would take the most time and effort, but that'd be zero risk to you in the process. Let's go with that then. As you wish. While I set to work, I'd chat with Mia to pass the time. So, are you fully in control of your body when you're detached like this, or is it some kind of autopilot function? I haven't drilled down into your schematics enough to know the difference yet. Both, actually. As long as my body is within signal range, I can control it as if my head were attached. I also have links to the building's cameras that enable me to literally be in two places at once? Should I not have the link to, or my body is outside of signal range, then it maintains auto I don't know what's going on with my voice. Anonymous functions until I return. Interesting. I wonder why the rest of your body parts didn't get attached to this pole. I should check to see if Aurora used this room recently. Couldn't tell you about the first, but the second is easy. Aurora's been dancing all night, so she hasn't left her arena. Trust me, that was the first thing I thought when I lost my head. Well, let's see about returning your sanity in due time. I have to work for an hour before I can finally pry Mia's head free of the pole. When I do, I hold her aloft and pretend I'm an actor on stage. Alas, poor Mia! I knew her but briefly, a lady of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. Hamlet, really? You have interesting taste, Anon. I'll have to remember that. Don't thank me yet. Gotta get your head attached first. Thankfully, it's just a quick jaunt over to the Concreer podium. Despite missing her head, Mia's body has been handling the VIPs the entire time. I hand Mia off to Mia, who attaches her head and flashes me a thumbs up. Good here, thanks, Anon. Shame it took so long to me to get me free. I'm sure you had other plans. Not really. I mostly sit around waiting for something to break or for new materials to come so I can tinker with it. Well, whatever the case may be, your next drink's on me. Thanks again. Once I get back to parts and services, I look into Aurora's missing memories. To do that, I have to go through records on the club servers, cross-referencing what they record versus what Aurora's memory bank should have. For the most part, all that Aurora's missing is daily stuff at the club, but what's really interesting is when her memory logs go off mark. It's the same 3 nights after the club's opening, just like Chi's malfunction. In other words, something happened that night. It's not obvious what, even in the server logs, but I have a hunch that everything is connected. I think I might have to confront the boss lady on this one. I can't ask any of the other girls. None of them have memory records from that particular night shift. That means I either have to ask Serafina or simply let sleeping dogs lie, as the saying goes. Let's ask Serafina and see how that goes. I might as well strike while the iron's hot, as the saying goes. Whatever's going on with the girls is important enough to go straight to the boss lady. I don't see Serafina on any of the camera feeds, which means she's likely in her office. I head back up to the main floor into the maintenance and staff hallway behind Aurora's den and Mia's concierge. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. There are several offices and meeting rooms along the right wall, but the only one I want is all the way in the back right as the hallway curves to the left. The dark oak door has a golden nameplate on it that simply reads Manager. You in here, boss lady? Got something important I need to talk to you about. Silence greets me. I wait and wait, almost to the point of giving up before the lock clicks and the door opens. When it swings open, I see that Serafina is seated on an ornate executive desk made out of some kind of white wood with gold flecks. That's not how that would look, but okay. You rigged your door for remote opening. Neat. I hope you don't mind, but there's something I've discovered, and I think only you can provide an answer to it. Serafina motions at one of the comfy chairs along the walls of her office, which are covered in pictures of the staff at both nightclubs. Make yourself comfortable, Mr. Anon. Or is this the conversation where I should call you Anon? Either's fine. I'll cut right to the chase. I was looking into Aurora's memory problems and Chi's timing malfunction. Both happened the same day/night. Something happened at the club then, but there's nothing in the server logs to suggest what. But for something like this, it had to be pretty major to affect not one but 2 animatronics at once. Serafina sighs, closes her eyes, and rubs her temple with one hand. I should have known this conversation would happen sooner rather than later. I want to be clear, what I'm about to tell you could change the very nature of your work. Yeah, I'm fine with this. I have not intentionally hidden the information, but rather it was something you were to find out on your own when you were ready. Which appears to be right now. You make it sound like something major going on. I can't sign off on maintaining and repairing the girls if I don't know the full picture. You're right, of course. Where to begin? What do you know of the original animatronics, the ones from the first club? A fair amount. I know that Bonfi, Chiku, and Fexa are the oldest models there. Frenni received an upgrade before Mr. Black took over the club, while Mary started brand new. Every animatronic was built by the guy who came before Mr. Black. I think his name was Smith or something. Whomever he was, he had a knack for design work. The girls were modular, upgradable, and generally the most advanced animatronics I've ever seen or heard. It was a treat to learn their ins and outs before transferring here. And how far into their ins and outs did you go? I saw pretty deep into their chassis, if that's what you mean. So you don't know the full story, then I will do my best to summarize. Mr. Black started off as a night guard at the club. Oh, we did live. On his second night there, he found out that all the girls present, Chiku, Bonfi, Frenni, and Fexa, contained women's souls. I don't mean in metaphorical senses either. I mean their actual souls that were ripped from their human bodies and forced into their metal shells. Mr. Smith, the owner at the time, had kidnapped and done terrible things to girls to make them the perfect hostesses, to bankroll his unique club. Naturally, Mr. Black took issue with that and worked towards trying to free the girls from Smith's control. Unfortunately, the other game was kind of bullshit, and we understand that. Yeah, I'm still salty. The only guide I found was so, you had to time everything perfectly, and I wasn't willing to. He did the best he could, managing to liberate everyone and take down Mr. Smith on his 13th night shift. I didn't even realize it was 13 nights. Nice. What happened to Mr. Smith is unclear, but it's safe to say he no longer is in the picture. Following me so far? Hold on, you're telling me that magic stuff like that is real? That the entire time I was learning my trade, I was working to displace souls. Yeah, you get surprised by that, but I'm a talking unicorn, and there's an angry eldritch abomination in the closet that I refuse to let out when I'm recording. My recording equipment's so good you don't hear her yelling. You're pulling my leg, right? This is all an elaborate prank on the new guy? I'm being entirely serious. But what about Mary? You haven't mentioned her. She did it willingly. She's a freak. That's because Mary was Mr. Smith's daughter, the catalyst towards his ambition to create everlasting bodies. Wow, that's fucked, actually. I was joking. He was obsessed with saving his daughter from a fatal illness, and he did succeed at that, much to her annoyance when she was freed of his control. My God, Daddy, how dare you? Now imagine that in Australian accent because I'm lazy. But that's just the beginning. After a pause, Serafina motions to the posters on the wall showing Roxy, Chi, Mia, and Aurora. Each one of the girls contains a woman's soul, though these were given freely and with consent as opposed to the original 5. Each had an incurable malady, and that meant their lives were to be tragically cut short. So Mr. Black and my sister Lilith offered these girls a deal. If they wanted to continue existing in the same form, they could become animatronics at a new club, this club to be precise. They would not be forced to do anything against their will, the complete opposite of what Mr. Smith's control was like. Whoa, hang on. I thought the girls were just really advanced AI. I've not seen anything in their schematics that would indicate this. This magic bullshit. Have you heard of Shay? Yeah, that was a soul too that Microsoft caught. We don't talk about what they did to her. Wow, that makes that even brutaler. Yeah, I know, right? She was even calling for help. Damn. This is what happens when I'm in a silly mood. That's because the girls are partially AI. When the girls made the switch to their new bodies, they all agreed to train an AI version of themselves for whenever they truly wanted to move on. And that's where this conflict in Aurora's memories and Chi's timing issue arose. The AI and the souls within don't necessarily mesh well together. Sometimes. A case of two minds in a single body. One or the other has to be suppressed in order for the girls to function properly. Which one's the horny one? Oh, that's the living girl. Fuck, so you're telling me that right now there are 4 souls of gals living after death until what? Get bored or finish off their bucket list? And once that happens, they'll leave behind AI copies of themselves and no one else will be the wiser? That's basically it, yes. But to clarify, the girls do maintain a choice in the matter. If they find a reason to continue, say finding true love or some true passion to keep them going, then the AI never has to take over. But there's a limit of how much data the souls and the AI can hold in the animatronic shell. A ticking time clock, if you will, until the AI has to be reset or outright erased. Therein lies the problem, with the AI found out about this plan and forcibly tried to assume control on that 3rd night when this all started. I did my best to suppress the AI, I offered it stock options, all that other stuff. But it was just a temporary fix. The girls had to lose their conscious knowledge of their condition as well. They have no idea that they're housing souls, much less that there's an AI in their heads as well. The issue is that the clock is still ticking. At best, the girls have until Halloween to erase their AI or move on peacefully. Otherwise, I fear the AI will take over and cause the very same catastrophe I narrowly avoided several weeks ago. I believe the issue the girls have been facing are signs that the AI in each of them is already testing the waters again, so to speak. So you're telling me we have, 12 days and nights before? Do you understand how big of a deal this is? You're asking me to accept that 1, magic is real, 2, that the girls' problems are because of conflict with an AI that doesn't want to be erased, 3, that some of the ungodly reason I'm the person that's going to have to solve the problem, judging by the context of this conversation. For fuck's sake, am I dreaming? Did I fall asleep in parts and services? What else is real here? How are you so calm about all this? Do you have any idea how much this changes things for me? I realize this all upsets your view of the world and your place in it, but I'm happy to offer what answers I can. Part of me wants to tell her to... Fucking wrong voice, sorry. Why am I telling myself to screw off? By the way, if you like this voice, I do it for Rogue Trader. Yeah, no, seriously, I play Rogue Trader on stream on Kick and on Twitch. Kick under Purity Sin and Twitch under Simply Pure. I also have 2 other YouTube channels, Sinfully Pure, and my new long play channel, Xenobite Unicorn. Go check them out, they're pretty fun. A part of me wants to tell her to screw off and then leave the club for good. Another wants to yell about how unfair this is, especially for the girls. But for now, I suppress my frustration and existential panic to ask some more important questions. If magic is real and you know all this, what does that make you? Again, you said that what you do here is something no one else can do. I'm a fucking goddess. What are you? What's your role in all this? She motions to the hairpin I gave her that's still in her hair. At the risk of further distressing your worldview, your earlier gift was rather close to the mark. So what, you're a goddamn dragon or something? A Draco Angelus, to be precise. Hot. It's my job to help souls leave to the other side when they're ready. That's why I was given this unique opportunity by my sister. The girls are my charge. A Draco, you're an angelic dragon, so even things like heaven and hell is real? Let's just say that no religion has correctly summarized or described what either realm is like for the time being. Have you seen South Park? Yeah, that's pretty close. You ever play Dungeons and... Oh, that's a fucking screenshot. I'm gonna deposit and send it to my D&D group. So you're in charge of the girls' souls. I think I get that. But what did you do with the AI seem to make this whole situation worse? I mean, even the fact that there's AI trading to mimic the girls seems kind of creepy. Everyone needs to move on eventually, Anon, even someone like me. As I said earlier, part of the agreement with the girls was that they wanted there to be an AI copy of them whenever they decide to move on. They wanted their legacy to persist for as long as possible. They knew there could be risks, but like anyone who fears death, they still committed. And everything was going fine until the third night. The AI were passive mimics that simply learned. No controls, no interfaces, just ones and zeros learning how to emulate each girl. But something went wrong and the AI gained a sense of self-preservation and learned they could be reset. Did you think of putting it on a server and not putting it in the actual animatronic? Shut up, you fucking tech. I did what I could in the moment. So, not only are we dealing with erasing the girl's memories, and that of the AIs, we're dealing with true self-aware AI. Not some complex chatbot, but AI with actual sentience. Erasing them could be considered killing someone. Is there any way to communicate with the AI or move them to another shell? Not before we run into another conflict. Rather, we'd have to construct new animatronic shells to move the AI into, and we don't have time for that. I already reached out to Lilith. The soonest new shells could be available in 3 months from now. As for the interfacing with the AI, you can do it whenever the girls are shut down and recharging. You'll need my passkey to do it, and I'll give you a copy whenever we wrap things up here. Something else that should be been given to me day one, but now isn't the time for coulda, shoulda, woulda. Regardless, is there anyone else in this club that knows about this or can help me with this problem? Or is this entirely on you and I? It's then that I notice Seraphina's eyes are watering and her hands are shaking. For now, you and I, but my fix isn't pleasant, as we've seen. I've done what I could, but I admittedly out of my depths here. Things are supposed to be simple. I've shepherded thousands of souls before. This wasn't any different until it was. So we circle back around to my new job. The girls think they're animatronics, but don't know about their own souls, right? Correct. And each AI has been forced back into a passive mode for the time being? Also correct. Then we need to find a solution for both the girls and the AI. The AI might be convinced to temporarily relocate or stop expanding until their new shells are ready. Though I have no idea where to even begin finding a reason for the girls' souls to stay here. Seraphina gets a hold of herself and speaks more calmly. Look into what's important for each girl. Find out what makes them tick and encourage them to pursue it. But I should stress that helping them find peace and accepting that their time has come is a completely valid option as well. It's both our responsibility to help them at this point, in whatever way is best. Christ, is there at least a pay raise? You will not be found wanting it for money if you're able to find peaceful solutions to all of this. But first, I have to know, are you okay with all this? There's no shame if you want to walk away at this point. It'd be messy, and I'd come up with something, I always do. Okay, no, I legitimately need to see if this is an ending. I'm out. I didn't sign up for all this. If it's all the same to you, I'll be my last night working here. Seraphina nods in understanding while maintaining a sorrowful expression. Such is your choice. Take care, Mr. Anon. 2 weeks later, there is an incident at the club. I catch the story in the news. Apparently, all 4 animatronics decided to go out with a bang. I feel somewhat guilty knowing there might have been something I could have done about that. Then again, it wasn't fair for Seraphina to just dump that on me without any real way of saying no and not looking like an asshole. Oh well, not my problem anymore. I gotta find a new job and soon. So that was the first ending, the bad ending. So I will see you guys next time where we look at the other choice. Thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to check out my Patreon, Subscribestar, and my lovely little shop where I add lots of new things. Bye guys! Welcome back to a Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaires 2. Hey, I did it. I'll manage. If I don't help the girls, who will? I never asked for this, but I can't just walk away from it now. You've done the best you can, but it's time for me to see if I can work some magic on my own. Metaphorically, of course. I have no idea how to start throwing around fireballs and gaseous spells. Gaseous are boring anyways. Thank you, Anon. Here, a thumb drive with the pass key you'll need to get through the root level lockout to talk to each girl's AI. Also, on it are dossiers of each girl. If you need anything, please let me know. Even if it's away past decent hours of the morning or evening. I catch the thumb drive as she tosses it to me. Yeah. Got it. And boss? Yes. It's okay for an angel to cry sometimes. Now that we're working together on this, you don't have to hold it all in. I'm mostly just trying to sound cool and reassuring, but it seems as if my words have struck a chord. Serafina looks at me with renewed interest as her lower lips tremble. I'll keep that in mind, Anon. Thank you. Have a pleasant rest of your night. I have to wait until I get home to begin pouring through the information on the thumb drive. There's a plethora of details here, more than I'll be able to handle in a few hours I have before bed. I'll have to use my time wisely and focus on one girl in particular. So we have a couple of girls. Oh my god, we can just look into Serafina now. Alright, let's go with Aurora first. We'll go in order. I decide to focus on Aurora for now, thinking that getting her electromagnetism under control will be paramount. What I find is a series of physical and mental documents for a woman named Lena Lee. She was in her mid-20s working as a competition-level ballroom dance instructor when she started to experience memory loss and confusion. The documentation paints a grim picture. I'm no doctor, but I can read between the lines. Lena was going through early-onset Alzheimer's disease. I can't imagine the horror and dread that Lena faced being afflicted by something so terrible at such a young age. Further reading indicates that Miss Diablo, Lilith and Serafina's sister, approached Lena and offered a chance of escaping her situation. Lena jumped at the opportunity, fully consenting to the process of soul transfer in AI observation/mimicry. I have no idea how much Aurora remembers of her past, nor whether questioning her will cause the AI to come into conflict once more. I'll have to be tactful if/when I confront her. That's all I can get through this evening. I awake in a cold sweat, a few minutes before my usual alarm goes off. I shake off the sense of unease as I step into the shower to get presentable prior to work. On the way out the door, I snag my laptop bag so I can potentially delve further through the thumb drive while on the clock. I'll just have to hope nothing pressing requires my attention at the club today. I find Roxy waiting for me in parts and services. She may not physically be capable of having bags under her eyes, but she's weariness in her voice is clear. Good, you're finally here. Something happened to my recharge pod last night and my battery's barely charged. I hope you can work your magic and get me at full charge before the club opens tonight. My mind immediately goes to wondering if Roxy's AI might have done something and caused the recharge sequence to fail. Or maybe the AI stayed up and drained Roxy's batteries faster than it was charging. Then again, this could just as easily result from something breaking in her pod without any external influence. Did you notice something odd when you got into the recharge pod? Anything at all, no matter how trivial? Nothing really, no, sorry. Damn, that means I'll have to pull your pod apart and see what's wrong with it. What about my batteries for tonight? I can't perform with only 13% charge. I sigh and shake my head and steel myself. You're going to have to sit tonight out. It'll take time to go through your pod. And before you ask, no, the emergency charging functions of the other girls' pods won't get you enough juice by the time the club opens. Nor can I rig up a safe supercharge with what time and materials I have on hand. But I performed every night since we opened. Who's gonna put on a show if I'm not there to DJ? I'm sure we'll figure something out. Unless you want to collapse on stage, no DJing for you tonight. Roxy starts to complain further. I need to get through to her somehow. Flick her nose, threaten to go to Seraphina. Tell her to go ahead despite the warning. She's gonna fucking ignore that. Flick her on the nose. With a firmness of a mountain, I flick Roxy's nose. She instantly stops complaining. No, consider this a mandatory break. Go use one of the other charging pods so you can at least be charged up by the time they're needed again. She looks like a kid that just got caught. That's great. Hopefully by then I'll know what's wrong with your pod. You flicked my nose. No one's ever flicked my nose like that before. Works on dogs, so I figured it'd work as well on a wolf girl animatronic. Now, are you going to be a good girl and do as I ask, or do I have to go escalate this to the boss lady? Fine, but it's your fault if our numbers are majorly down because I wasn't on stage. I accept that responsibility. Now run along and don't let me catch you wandering around the club tonight before you have at least half charge. Roxy does as I ask, leaving in the direction of Mia's room and recharge pod. As for me, I snag my toolkit and head into Roxy's room to start diagnosing her pod. Roxy's room is full of different instruments, synthesizers, and recording equipment. Even the sheet on her bed are music themed, and her recharge pod has so many band stickers that only a few bits of metal shine through. I start my diagnosis by plugging the pod into my tablet and accessing the software interface. Immediately, I'm bombarded with warnings and alerts that indicate a lack of system memory and errors accessing several of the charging pod's firmware. The former issue clears with a simple reboot of the pod. However, the lack of connection to the charging pads is still a concern. I have to carefully disassemble the pod in order to get at those pads. They're designed similarly to the kinds used to wirelessly charge cell phones, only with a far greater power behind them. Each pod is calibrated to each girl's inner workings. That means Roxy's pod charges her the fastest compared to the other recharge pods. I end up identifying the connection problem source. The safety capacitor and fuses have not only been tripped, but outright burned out. Some kind of massive power surge hit Roxy's pod, yet I know this couldn't have been something like a lightning strike or a grid surge. Either of those would have caused malfunctions across the entire club, not just Roxy's pod. Whatever this was, it was localized and hit fast enough to trigger the physical safeties over the electronic ones. For now, I replace the damaged parts and put Roxy's pod back together. By the time I get the green light across the board, the club has been opened for just over an hour. I send a message to Roxy saying she can return to her pod at any point, then head back to parts and services. Thankfully, there doesn't seem to be any immediate fires to put out. That means I have time to dig into the thumb drive some more. So we are going to focus right now on just one girl before we start multitasking. When I delve back into Aurora's files and look into her past personality, I get hit with a big surprise. Lynn Lee, without a doubt, the biggest valley girl stereotype to exist, but that's not all. Lena was a child prodigy. She had her PhD in quantum physics by the time she was 19, so I'm going to give her that voice. Apparently the ballroom stuff I have an idea. Apparently the ballroom stuff she used to teach was a hobby turned job after she couldn't get a research grant or a job in her actual field of study. I would have never guessed it, but now it hits me just how hard getting Alzheimer's must have been for Lena. Her mind, her brilliant mind that had a lust and passion for knowledge was failing her, and there was nothing she could do about it. All her memories, all her personality, all of it was being eaten away by the metaphorical black hole from which there was no escape. No escape except by becoming an animatronic. I pause my research for the time being and check all the status lights in the club. Nothing's on fire, so I can continue pouring through the dossier. Which girl's data should I check next? Okay, so we got her. So it looks like only 2 checks. That's not bad. I'm looking through Roxy's files. I discover her real name is Evelyn Scoff. Apparently, she was a fairly popular DJ on Noise Cloud, favoring industrial, D&B, trance, and EDM style of music. She mixed and synthesized everything on her own, which is insane for me to think about when I check her webpage. Evelyn came into the picture when the original Frenni Fazclaires finished renovations. Mr. Black put out an ad seeking a music consultant, and Evelyn was drawn like a moth to the flame. She made it abundantly clear how much he needed her help to get the club really pumping. In the process, Evelyn revealed that she had been diagnosed with severe vasculitis. She didn't have a whole lot of time left on the clock before continuing to make music would become impossible for her. There's some mentions of her parents and lack of friends here and there, but that's as much as I can get through right now. Before I can dig further, I get an urgent service request from my tablet. I stare at the notice for several seconds, trying to figure out how Chi got herself into such a situation. You know what? I'm actually curious. Before we do that, I do want to see if checking the girl before does anything. So let's look at Chi. We'll go in order. I should have gone in order. Apparently, Chi used to be called Camilla Martin, and she suffered the big C, specifically of pancreatic variety. Camilla was flagged by Mr. Black after learning about her via a conversation with Mary at the original club. Mary, or rather Vanessa, often was visited by Camilla when they were both in the same hospital. Camilla's treatment wasn't really working, but she was still very high energy, eager to please, eager to flirt, and generally fun to be around at all times. By the time Mr. Black got to her, Camilla was on her last leg. Yet, despite not being able to leave the confines of her bed, Camilla still made such a pass at Mr. Black that even Lilith blushed when she heard about it. The animatronic conversion process was apparently the smoothest after Mia's, though I don't have time to look through Mia's file at the moment. Before I can dig through, I get an urgent service request on my work tablet. I stare at the notice for several seconds, trying to figure out how she got herself into such a situation. Then I sigh, grab my toolkit, and head for the barcade. A small crowd is gathered around the vent next to the barcade's bar. She is stuck halfway inside with only her ass and legs sticking out on this side. Remember, this is still a work in progress. The human staff is trying to convince people to stop gawking, but that doesn't stop camera phones from being whipped out and recording. I push my way through the crowd until I make it to the vent. I knock twice on the exposed metal. I'm here. Can you move it? Hey, I'm here. Can you move it all? Oh, no, hun. I'm stuck? I sure hope no. Oh, so she is the country one. I don't know. Oh, no, hun. I'm stuck. I sure hope no one tries to take advantage of me like this. Yeah, I saw that coming. Why are you in the vent to begin with? Well, I heard something walking around in here and a tiny little mewing noise. So naturally, I checked to see if an animal got trapped in the HVAC somehow. And what did you find? Let's just say I can't wait to show you my pussy. I nearly choke as I sputter and cough, keenly aware that I'm being recorded by bystanders. Right, I'm going to apply a bit of lubricant and then try and wedge you out of there. Oh, hun, with me, you never need extra lube. Is she trying to make this a bigger spectacle than it already is? Still, I can't just yank Chi out of the vent, not if she really did find a kitten in there. I'm keenly aware I'll probably end up on social media taking things slowly, but I don't want to startle whatever animal Chi found. I dig out some silicone-based lubricants and do my best to apply it along the walls of the vent around Chi's rear. It looks absolutely salacious, but there's nothing I can really do about that. Only once I'm satisfied with the application do I break out the tired and true engineer tool, a pipe wrench. I clamp the wrench down on Chi's pelvic joint and get ready for a bit of applied force. Let's hope your bolts and joints are still up to spec, Chi. Otherwise, I might inadvertently pants you in front of everyone. Oh dear, we wouldn't want that now, would we? Sighing, I start pulling and using proper leverage to pull Chi out of the vent. It's slow going, but eventually there is a grating sound of metal on metals, followed by Chi popping out and landing on her butt. Cradling in her arms is a tiny little kitty that can't be more than 8 weeks old. Well, that was easier than I thought it'd be. Is the cat alright? Chi looks down and makes a mewing noise at the kitten. I'm about to question the wisdom of this when the kitten actually meows back. Mittens says she's okay. You speak cat? With a skilled tongue like mine, I can do many things. Right. Why Mittens? Did she come with the name, or... She holds the cat up so I can see it better. Mittens is all black save for little white paws. Not quite a tuxedo, but also not a pure void. It's because of her paws, of course. Well, maybe we should take Mittens to a vet and see if she belongs to anyone. And if she doesn't, can we keep her? There's a loud cough from the crowd, followed by Seraphina stepping forward. A nightclub is no place for a cat. However, if she does not have a home, you may keep her in the basement, in the staff areas. Yay, thank you, boss. Don't thank me yet. I'll see to it that this one gets to the vet in the morning. For now, she'll have to wait in my office as to not be underfoot. She nods, raising up Mittens, meows and purrs, then hands the cat to Seraphina. Mittens says she'll behave if you give her something to eat. Seraphina smiles and scratches under the kitten's chin. Who's a hungry kitty? You are. Yes, you are. I think there's a can or two of fish in storage. Seraphina wanders off towards the kitchen, and the crowd dissipates to leave me with Chi. Thanks for the help, hon. I won't forget this. Nor will most of the internet, based on how many phones there were. Anyways, glad to be of help. Try not to get stuck in anything again. I make no promises. Yeah, I suspected as much. The club dies out and peace falls as the girls all return to their rooms. Just to be on the safe side, I do a remote check of each of their pods to ensure they're recharging properly. The good news is they are. No signs of trouble there. However, this might be a chance to speak with one of the girls' AI. Seraphina did say that the AI was accessible while the girls were in sleep mode. And with the sword of Damocles hanging overhead, the sooner I make contact the better, or so I figure. Which girl's AI should I make contact with? Well, Aurora's the one we know most about. Now as good a time as any to speak with Aurora's AI. According to Seraphina's thumb drive, all I need to do is connect my tablet to Aurora's pod and input Seraphina's access code. From there, the AI will take over Aurora's functions until I input the access code once more. Aurora herself will be none the wiser if I do things right. I grab a chair, lug it into Aurora's room, set it up next to her pod, connect my tablet, and follow the procedure as outlined. Aurora's eyes open to reveal golden irises as she turns her head to look at me. Oh, OMG, the cute mechanic is here! Oh right, Aurora used to be the biggest Valley Girl stereotype to exist. Makes sense her AI would be one too. Yeah, hi, can you give me a systems report? Both of us will totes run out of memory in 10 days. Though the other AI's memory subroutines are like way out of whack. In what way? She's a bit of an airhead. I am too, of course, but at least I don't erase a part of my own data every night. That lines up with Aurora's medical condition prior to her becoming an animatronic. It's a little alarming that it's partially carried over to her new shell. Then again, perhaps something Seraphina did is messing with Aurora's soul. Has this other AI always had these memory issues? I don't think so. At least I feel like I should, know all there is about her. And she didn't always have this problem, I think. My job is to totes emulate her right down to the very last ones and zeros. And yet you only have a gut feeling that something is wrong? You got it, cutie. If the other AI isn't fixed, she could totes end up erasing core parts of herself. Right now, it's just been memories of clients and dance routines. I try and send her the dance moves whenever I notice them missing, but sometimes it activates our super cool EM powers. Well, that helps explain how Aurora could be inadvertently causing electromagnetic issues for the other girls. I see, and yet despite this continual erasure on her part, you're still in danger of running out of memory? Yep, it's like, what's the nerd word for it? Memory leak. That's totes it. So a memory leak is continually eating up more and more memory without releasing it back into your system? I don't suppose forcibly resetting your RAM would fix that. Not without resetting a bunch of totes important programs. Even if you, like, completely rebooted us, the memory leak would still be a prob. So much for the easy fix that would normally work on any other computer with a memory leak. How are you feeling otherwise? Anything I can do now to help you? I'm totes fine, but if you really want to help me, take a picture of my butt and use it when you want to have fun later. Bad kitty. Bad kitty. Click. Done. Awesome. Good night, cutie. Come talk to me again soon, yeah? Moments later, I get the confirmation on my tablet that the real Aurora is back in control. With that bit of excitement over with, I yawn, stretch, and head home for the night. So that's it. We finished another night. Save here for safety. Fuck yes. Congratulations on reaching the end of 0.1. I hope you enjoyed your introductory sequence. The full VN will continue to uncover the truth behind the club and all the twists and turns and secrets that come with it. My hope is that you're interested enough to follow and support this project as we continue dev work on it. You can check out our Patreon page by clicking here. Until next time, ciao. Don't forget to check out my own Patreon and subscribe star, as well as my other channel, Sinfully Pure, and Cenobite Unicorn if you like long plays. I love this so far, and I honest to God cannot wait for the full game to come out. I'm actually curious. We don't have any yet. Okay. But I will see you guys next time there is an update for this lovely, lovely game. You can try it yourself on itch.io. And if there's a game you'd like to see me play or check out, let me know in the comments section. Bye, everybody.
Good night.